let's be real about gambling.
Yes, sir. Sheedy got the name on him.
You
Sheedy
feel me?
got the name
Snake eyes. Snake eyes. What it do?
Riddle need that jack. That's
What's
funny.
good, everybody?
I remember one time Don Tripp once said, "You gambling with your life, and yeah, you failed at it."
Sheesh, what a reference.
Shout
What
out
a
to
reference.
Tripp.
Shout out to this terrible Memphis weather.
Hey man, I appreciate
Oh
you.
yes.
Like y'all had us
We
Iceman in the middle of Bill Street just doing this and bringing all kind of shit.
And that was probably
Girl,
done
we
in
literally
75-degree weather.
Bring it
It was
on.
probably done in 75
Yeah,
degree weather.
we went from 60 to snowing in like
All right,
8 hours. It
That's
was
about right.
crazy.
8 hours.
Right. Real
One was
Yeah,
one was
a
say it
full
was
work
a,
shift.
quick story, bro. I was supposed to do a drone flight of Tom B. Park stuff on Thursday.
Supposed to.
I got too busy and had to do it Friday. Friday morning, still okay. By the time we went out there about 2 o'clock, bro, it was so windy. And trying to fly a drone while it's windy outside, bro, it ain't the best.
Ain't the best.
Trying to figure out this Memphis weather ain't the best either.
nah. I mean,
No, you'll
but
never
you
figure
can-
that out.
But if you turn on your TV and maybe look for certain shows like Snowfall, then maybe you can figure out what it is happening in Memphis, though.
Hey, shout out to Savage, man. He got his supply from Franklin. So,
I hope we don't have to clarify that. Now that-
Yeah,
that's
I
what
kind
we
of
going-
want clarification on that one because there's only one
Yeah.
Franklin saying I know, and there's only one supply that he's supplying.
he got
He got a baby.
got-
He got a wife, bro. He got a
He got-
whole family.
he got his baby for him. Hey, he put it on Twitter.
I appreciate
True,
the
it's
captain's
public knowledge. It's public
This man
knowledge.
got a whole family, and y'all talking about Franklin saying delivering packages. And
I'm so
shit.
glad the captain. I'm so glad the captain. You know, he cleared that up because my
Thank
boy
you.
Teddy was going to be a savage dog. For the be my man's dog.
All right, man. Let's go get. Let's get with our. Let's try to get a message from our sponsor real quick.
Let's Be Real Media is pleased to announce we are sponsored by Ralph Brand. Ralph culture is surrounded by skates, punk, and hip-hop arts. We are looking forward to co-designing materials for this journey with them. Please visit ralphbrand.com for purchasing merch now and for future collaborations with Let's Be Real Media.
All right, it's officially March Madness time, conference tournament time. So y'all know what time it is.
So you already know what time it is. You know, I had to come with the swaggy today. You know what I'm saying? The Tigers is doing well. I'm not as stressed as I was 2 months ago. So we're going to go right into it. We're going to talk Memphis Tigers basketball today.
That's funny.
Yeah, so the AAC tournament is going on. Like Sharky said, it's March Madness going on. And so the Tigers did take on UCF on yesterday, did defeat them 85-69. Sorry for the dog that's in the back. But led by Jalen Duran and Lester Kianis, who had a really, really good game yesterday. They prepared us to a win. So we're still marching on. University of Memphis, we take on SMU in Dallas, and I'm not sure why in the heck they decided to play the game in the Dickies Arena somewhere in Dallas, where it's like 7 people that's attending some of these games. But we'll go ahead and, like I said, we'll continue to talk about Memphis and what do you guys project. Do you guys expect Memphis to beat SMU today? Do you expect them to win the AAC tournament and officially, if nothing else, lock us into the NCAA tournament? So let's go in an order of Took. Actually, let's switch that. Let's go Sheedy, Cap, Trevor, Took, then me. Let's go that way. Can I do that?
Yeah, can you
Let's do
repeat
that.
the
It's a
questions
lot,
you
man.
want me? Yeah, give me the
Yeah,
questions
so-
again.
So
predictions
basically,
predictions for the SMU game today. And then, of course, if you happen to beating SMU today, will they win the AAC tournament championship game tomorrow?
Got you. Well, last time they played, well, first of all, let me go ahead and be the guy in the room that says the obvious. I'm the guy that said I don't believe Penny can coach as well as he can. And I still hold 10 toes down about it. But I am proud of where these young men are at and what it's doing for the University of Memphis and Memphis as a whole, along with Penny Hardaway and everyone else, Larry Brown and those sorts. I would say, I think since January 1st, they're 14-4, which is a great turn for them. This team was not looking like a team, to your point, Skylar, that could even be doing anything within this tournament, let alone the big tournament in March. So great turnaround by them. And then when it comes down to SMU, I think last time we played them, we did lose, I believe. And so it's do or die now in that scenario. I don't believe if we lose this game, I say if Memphis loses this game, I still believe they're still in the conference tournament. Well, the big dance, so to speak, altogether. And this game should not define them, especially again with that turnaround. And so I'm calling them to, I think they win this game, redemption game against SMU. But even if they don't win, again, kudos to them at least doing this well. Again, since January 1st, like I said, 14-4 is phenomenal, especially talking about college basketball. I mean, college sports, every game really matters for real. And so kudos to Penny for getting us there and getting them there, I should say. And hopefully they do beat SMU and continue to go up within their standings within the tournament itself.
So, judging by Joe Lenardi's recent predictions, Memphis is in the tournament. He had them like number 8 seed. So they are solidly in as far as I know. But Joe Lenardi has been wrong before, so it's not like he's perfect. But just seeing them move from the bubble and really outside the bubble at this point. And all the teams they have below them, like Michigan, they have all took L's, and you got even the teams who are making runs, like Texas A&M is making a run. And if a team like that steals a bid, I don't think Memphis would be affected, especially at this point. Really, SMU is the team that's playing for a tournament bid, and they beat us twice. Both games are pretty much blowouts. The first game was the Penny's comments came after their first game in Memphis. That was literally their game. When you came, stop asking stupid questions. Since then, they won 11 out of 12 with their one loss coming at SMU. And SMU is in Dallas. And the tournament is in Fort Worth, near Dallas. So it's basically another road game. I don't know. SMU had fans at their game yesterday. Scott, do you know? Did they have fans at their game yesterday? They did. Okay. So,
like I told Terrence, I've seen more people at a vacation Bible school class than there was the amount of people that was at that arena.
I know the other guy, I know Houston and Memphis guys, they had nobody, but SMU was there. You would have thought, although it was a work day, but hey, who knows? It was Saturday. They might get some fans in that thing, but the way Memphis playing, they know this is a team they haven't beat. I see a mindset shift with this team. Penny has helped this rotation since that last game at SMU, which is part of the reason SMU ran off on us. Give me the Tigers. I predict them to win the whole tournament, period. Not the whole NCAA tournament, the conference tournament, the AAC tournament. Get us the conference championship, roll on to the big dance, and we'll see what happens from there. So get us to beat SMU today. I think the game will be close. It won't be, I don't think we'll blow them out, but I think it will be a dogfight. We'll pull it off. Then we'll blow out Houston again or whoever, Tulane maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, Memphis has to really establish their pace in this game against SMU, and where that comes from showcasing Jalen Duren and DeAndre Williams in the offense. You have the size advantage, use it, play at your pace, run and transition in spots where you can absolutely guarantee that you can get a basket. You do all of that, I have no problem in Memphis winning this game against SMU. Granted, they took both games from us in the regular season, but this is a whole different Memphis team than those two games. So I fully expect Memphis to come out. I do think this game gets close, but I think Memphis pulls away late. I think Memphis will probably take this one by, I'll say about 8 points today. It'll be handy, but it'll still be single digits, but it'll be convincing enough. As far as the NCAA tournament, they punched their ticket when they beat Houston before the AAC tournament even started. At this point, they're just trying to see where they're going to be seated when Selection Sunday happens on tomorrow. I do think Memphis goes on to win the AAC, and they probably will end up, because I think right now, as Sharky said, they're 8 seed. It may end up as a 5. I think if they were able to win the AAC, they can end up as a 5, which is good but not great at the same time, because if you know March Madness like we all do, then 12-5 matchups them be the ones prone to upsets. But for now, give me the Tigers to win the AAC, and I had them as a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Cool. So, great points for everybody. I think that, just to state the obvious, like, I think that was the spark plug when Penny went off on the reporter, right? And, we allude to it a bunch on this podcast. And it's like, the team saw that, and it's kind of like, we can do this as a team. Like, beginning of the season, there were a bunch of unselfish plays, a bunch of one-on-ones, a bunch of, simple turnovers, and a lot of people point, to our senior Alo, who wasn't impacting the game the way that he should, you know what I'm saying? And now with that spark plug, we have gone on a run the way that we're supposed to. We know what we're doing. We know our identity. We're playing to our strengths, which is resulting in winning basketball. So my thing is, for just this SMU thing, I know it may sound like a cliche, but just have fun. Just have fun and play your kind of basketball. Like, the Tigers are at their best when they're having fun. Like, and it's fun for us. Like, it may be an away game, but at the same time, if it's only 10 people at the stands, that can be embarrassing for SMU, right? And that can be a good thing in our favor. So I do expect us to win this game. And as far as the tournament go, I think there was a bracket that I saw us going against UT if we win the first game in the tournament. I forgot who we played or how it worked out. But if it's any way that they're not cool.
That was that's if Memphis got in as an 11. I think they would match up, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. They'd match up with Texas, I believe.
Yeah.
And if they win that, they would match up against UT in the next round, assuming they took care of business against the University of Texas. So, yeah.
Cool. So, of course, I wouldn't want us going against Texas, but if it is, it is. It is what it is. But I think if they're not cool at all, you can find a way to kind of finesse a final Memphis-Tennessee game, especially in the tournament. I think that'll be a great way to end what shouldn't be ending, but that's just my 2 cents. A great way to end that rivalry, and of course, Memphis winning that. So, but I do expect us to win today.
Yeah, and I'm going to come from a perspective that I just think that I would like for everybody to at least consider, which is there was a point in time where we were all questioning if Memphis was going to even make the tournament, right? And so to what Sheedy just said, since a particular date in January to go 14-4, to what Sharky just said, to win 11 of your last 12, to turn your season around to where at one point a month or two ago, your entire fan base was questioning if you could even make the tournament, to now you're comfortably in the tournament. And so now it's a matter of now we have people saying, well, I don't want them to be in this bracket. I don't want them to go against whoever the case. I don't want them to go against whoever. I don't care. I'm at the point where I'm just happy. I'm content with what's going on. I'm happy that Penny Hardaway has turned the season around. I'm happy that they are giving the ball to Jalen Duren, who looks like an alien. I don't know if I've seen anybody that dominant in quite some time. I've seen it before.
Future Memphis Grizzly check.
Potential Memphis Grizzly. Exactly. They look so good, and I'm so glad that they've given him opportunities to shine. It looks like, I'm not sure what the case is with Rasheed Wallace, but you're not going to tell me that he's still not having some imprint on the program and on the big man, because they look so good together. If you looked at the UCF game yesterday, Jalen Duren and DeAndre Williams, and really Josh Minot too, they look a world away. It's a total 180 from what they looked like months ago. And I think that somehow, some ways, got to be attributed to, Larry Brown, his imprint on what they do offensively. Now they're taking their time. They work the ball from side to side, and eventually get the ball to Jalen Duren, get the ball to DeAndre Williams. And then at that point, now you get Landers Nala, who's gone off a couple of times, not necessarily yesterday, but he's gone off recently. Tyler's gone off recently. Lester went off recently. And so that's what I was preaching from the get-go. Get the ball inside, and then your guards can take advantage of their mismatches and things like that. And then you can play the hellacious defense that you can. So I said out there to say that Kendrick Davis for SMU is the key to this game. If Memphis can somehow, some way slow him down, and not slow him down for a half, because I think yesterday he was 0-9 in the first half and then ended the game with 24 points. They have to find somehow, some way to get him locked down, control, what he's going to do for the game. If they do that, they win. If they do that, in my opinion, they win the AAC tournament. And honestly, don't care who they draw in the first round. I don't care. I don't care if it's Baylor. I don't care if it's UT. I don't care who it is, because again, we weren't talking this way a month or two ago. And so I'm just glad to see, where we are now. If they make the tournament and lose the first game, I don't care, because again, we weren't projected to be here. But damn it, at the same time, they have in my opinion, and I sound biased as I want to be, but they can roll the ball out and play anybody in this country and potentially make it to the Sweet 16, make it to the Elite Eight. So that's why I'm happy for, and it's just good to see the Grizzlies and the Tigers playing so damn well. Like Memphis Twitter is going crazy, and I feel like the more that the Tigers win, the more that the Grizzlies win, we're about to be unbearable. Like, people are about to start blocking us, and I'm okay with it.
I got a question for y'all. And it's funny that you said that, Lito, because I was thinking, like, because the players are so young still and relatable, and we were literally talking about the Grizzlies like this, early in the season, with us not knowing what the hell they were doing, not stepping up to the point. My question to y'all is, like, do y'all think that the Tigers learned from the Grizzlies' success?
I think, and I'll let you speak to. I think John Morant has some imprint on what the Tigers. I won't say what they've done, but maybe because we already know that he's mentored Imani Bates before, and so I could see there being some type of relationship where, because in my opinion, I've heard that Penny has a pretty open practice, right? I feel like I've heard times where he allows former Tigers to come in. I've heard he allows Grizzlies players to come in, and so maybe them picking their brain and them, Grizzlies players to Tigers players say, hey, you guys should probably think about doing this, or let's go get some shots up, or I can tell you what I've gone through when I played college basketball. Maybe those conversations have had, and maybe that's what helped turn the season around too. So I think so.
I would say, I think but only a little bit, because Memphis has done this the last 3 years. When February hit, they get rolling. The difference between this year and the last 2 years is they beat Houston this year. The reason they made tournament last year was because they lost to Houston 3 times. The reason they made the tournament the year before is because, COVID stopped it, but they lost to Houston and they wasn't projected to be in tournament going to conference tournament. This year, they were on the same road, but they beat Houston, the team they need to beat the last 2 years. That's the difference, the biggest difference.
Yep, that's pretty much all it is. Is everything as far as the path has been this season is pretty much been the same. It's just they just beat Houston, and look where they are now. So.
Yeah, I guess I'll spin it just a different route. Is that they're realizing how good they actually can be and are. Not can be, but are. There's a difference between understanding how good you can be and understanding how good you actually are. And I think probably towards the beginning of the season, right, before the season even started, I think we all were like, this is like an Elite Eight type of team, right? The talent that they had, the recruiting. We got Larry Brown, we got Rasheed Wallace. Like, pre-game or preseason, we're thinking Elite Eight, Final Four, right? But they didn't know how great they were. And as they developed throughout the season, I don't know, maybe Santa Claus dropping off something for Christmas, and then they took off. And now they're realizing how great they really are with, like I said, the ball movement and the spacing on offense has been great too. But this is a team that's realizing who they are and their self-worth.
And due to this whole thing, I do check out my last blog post. Y'all ain't checked it out. Sports and relationships. I got a new blog post down. Got an idea for it called Microwave Society. Due to what's going on with the perfect example of the Tigers this year. How everybody, well, I can say overreacted, but you think about like in it, people saying fire Penny, for instance, and 1 month to the disease, 2 months to the disease, stuff like that. I've seen that consistent. I just get Grizzlies, a whole lot of just like, it's such thing as criticizing and just overreacting. So I got a new post that I got it. I do. I ain't started writing yet, but just thought of it.
Y'all need to check out his last post if you haven't either, though.
Absolutely.
Everybody listening,
check it out.
Yep, sports and relationships on LBRmedia.com. But still it for the Tigers. We're gonna be in the tournament next week. Next week we'll be talking about second round opponents, hopefully. All right, real talk. Sheedy, what's the title of the episode?
Oh, gotcha. Well, man, I don't even know how to explain this, but let me put some to this. Yes, real talk time, right? We are talking about Calvin Ridley and gambling. I want to speak about what happened with him, but I also want to compare it to a few things. This man gambled a worth of $1,500 within a span of time where he was actually not playing for the team, and that has thus cost him $11 million going into next season. I don't believe it is fair or just at all. And I do want to run something by you guys really quickly, and then I'll just open it up and we'll just go around. Cap, Trevor, Took, and Skyler. But let's hear about some other things that happened in the league that actually caused some disturbances. Deflate game. Tom Brady was only hurt for 4 games, right? Suspended. This is happening. Since I'm a Cowboys fan, I wanted to make sure I'm not biased. So I want to bring some Cowboys here too. Wade Wilson, back in 2007, of the Cowboys, was suspended only 5 games. Listen to this. Only 5 games for purchasing and using performance-enhancing drugs. 5 games. Let's talk about something that's also very recent, or kind of recent, so to speak, that happened in New Orleans. Bounty game. Y'all remember that? Where the bounty was out for players to hurt others. They weren't even suspended for a whole year. Most were only suspended to 8 games, and some of those were actually reduced down to 2 or 3. Calvin really bet on his team to win when he was out. And because of that, along with some other parlays maybe, he is gone for next season. We can wave the white flag because we kind of know why or why not. But I'm kicking off to Cap. And then, like I said, Cap, Trevor, Took, and then Skyler. Your thoughts about the suspension for the $11 million receiver for the Atlanta Falcons?
Gotcha. First, for the bounty gate, Sean Payton the coach did get suspended the whole year. I think he was on one, though. I'm not sure the other suspension.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The coaches were suspended too, and players. Yeah, I'm talking from a player standpoint, but yes, you're right.
Yeah, I know he got the whole year. But first thought when it first came out, it was like, okay, he gambled. He broke the rules. Cool. Well, I ain't gonna say cool, but it was like, it didn't shock me 1 year. I think society should start bringing up other stuff. It's like, hey, this person got suspended for this person got suspended for that. And I was like, all those are separate issues. Now, trust me, those less suspensions Ray Rice and all them had got for like sexual assault and stuff, they should have got probably a year, right? They should have got more. But to me, it's separate issues. Like, they should have got a whole year for that. So that don't mean Kaepernick shouldn't have got a whole year for this. Now, I don't think he should have gotten a whole year for this as well, because put it this way, I think they say when they first come to the NFL, gambling is like no gambling. That's like the first thing that they talked about in their first thing. So in a sense, you could say, although he's away from the team, he's still part of the team no matter what. Like, you can say he was away from the team. I'm not gonna say it's insider trading because he was away from the team and he did bet on them to win. But either way, like, to me, I mean, he broke the rules, so he deserved to get suspended. The whole season may be a little bit much only because this is the first. I guess I don't know if they just want to make a statement with him being the first person, but since this was like the first one that I just super know of, that's probably why he got a whole year. But it could have been less for like you said, he was working the team, he bet on his team. Gambling is now we take gambling differently than we did take it back then, or over time. So gambling has changed. Like, gambling is open. You still shouldn't bet on the sport you're playing in, but gambling is different. It's promoted. NFL works with, that's how they found out he gambled, because they work with the FanDuel or whoever he gambled through. So I would say his suspension was a bit much for it to be a whole year. But my first reaction wasn't to think about. I think of stuff as separate issues, and because they messed up on another issue doesn't mean that this issue they should, suspend. Yeah. I don't know. I think I get, like, you shouldn't intertwine like sexual assault and other stuff, domestic violence, and all this together, because they are all separate issues. All of those should be more. I can't agree to that all those players should have been suspended more. Or some players like Ezekiel Elliott shouldn't have got 6 games. He didn't even do nothing. They didn't find nothing on him. So stuff like this. So separate issues they need to do better on. But that's just how I feel about it. They need to do better as a whole. But I didn't really think too much of it. I think it still is a bit much, but I understand it.
I mean, in terms of the letter of the law, I guess where it says no gambling, I can see it, but it bothers me that these professional athletes are asked to be held to the standard that we're supposed to hold our congressmen and fellow people in political office is concerned. Do I think Calvin really should have got the full season? Absolutely not. I would have probably given him a little less than half or even close to half. Just again, if it's in the letter of the law, if it's in your bylaws or your rules that to not gamble at all as a member of the National Football League, then yes. To Sharky's point, we've seen people get less games for doing absolutely worse things. But again, you don't want to compare incidents and things of that nature. So it's just mind-boggling. I don't even think it's a race thing. I just think it's more so of the NFL is like, for some reason, just constantly trying to protect the shield, and it ends up being worse off than it is. It's like the NFL is on a boat and they see that there's a hole in the boat to where they're potentially about to sink, but they're doing everything in their power to not address the hole in the boat. And yet they just keep sinking to where to calls them the no fun league because it is what it is. So again, man, I feel for Calvin Ridley here. I mean, he was just trying to make some extra money because we all know the NFL players don't hardly get paid as much as we feel that they should. But in the end, the letter of the law is the letter of the law, man, and it just gotta be. It is what it is there. So, but he'll learn his lesson. So
it's funny you brought up politicians and things when politicians can actually put money into the stock market. So I mean, that's neither here or there, but just think about that. But I think that the NFL, the No Fun League, is using Calvin Ridley as an example. With betting and more states being open to bet, I think that this is one of the I think, to my understanding, this is one of the first times that's ever happened, a player getting caught betting. And I think the NFL do have to make an example out of him. Unfortunately, it was Calvin Ridley. But I mean, I'm pretty sure when you went to Ricky training camp, they told you don't gamble, don't do this, don't do that. Regardless of if you were playing, he kind of got to make the better decision than to bet on, at least his team. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the crazy part about it. Like, I know you're not playing, but at least bet on like us to beat, the Bucks or something. But
yeah,
I know,
and then use a different username. Like, just use a different username as well.
Like, give the money to somebody else. Like, give the money to somebody.
Yeah, he would have to get the money to somebody else.
Give the money to somebody. Give it to your girlfriend or something. Give it to something. Get a bartender or something. Like, let it run through that. But it's so many other ways that this could have done. But at the same time, a year, in my opinion, is excessive, especially from players that we've seen do crazier things, get shorter suspensions. Like, he's a young kid. He'll definitely learn from this moment. But, with the no fun league being what it is, you should know that the no fun league, it is what it is. And, if they suspend him for a year, I mean, in a way, he kind of deserved. I hate to say he deserved it because it is what it is. And my Panthers would be better, with him being off the field. But, as
y'all got a quarterback situation that needs addressing.
And I want to talk about it. I honestly want to talk. I want to talk about it.
He was getting traded anyway. He wasn't going to be in the division.
Helps us even more. But I definitely do want to talk about Deshaun Watson. So, Lito, the floor is yours.
Yeah, Ryan. Ryan.
But no, I mean, that was going to be what I said. My two issues were, one, we have to. This is just a weekly reminder that the NFL don't have their priorities in check, right? And when I say that to what y'all have already said, there are things, and you don't want to compare certain situations, but there are things that NFL players do that when they get suspended, they're only suspended for 4 to 6 games. Yet a player bets on whatever, he bets on his team, he bets on whoever, and I get it. The rule is the rule, but to be suspended for a full entire year for spending $1,500 on a parlay, like, I think that's just absolutely crazy to me. So this is nothing but just a weekly reminder that the NFL, they just need to get their priorities in check for a sport that we worship and cherish, and we make sure that we sit down and watch every single Sunday. Like, they just have, to what you just said, Trevor, like, they have a hole in the boat and they just refuse to just check on it. Like, they just refuse to do anything but fix or address the problem. And this is just a weekly reminder. But to what Ryan just said, I think if nothing else, the huge problem was you don't bet on the Falcons. You just don't bet on the Falcons. I don't care what you were trying to do. I don't care how much money you were trying to make. I don't care who you were trying to impress. One of the top rules is you don't bet on the Falcons. And damn it, this is what happens when you bet on the Falcons, because not only do you lose, but you lose in a certain way where you lose $11 million damn dollars. And in my opinion, I don't feel sorry for him, because the rule is the rule, and you bet on the damn Falcons, bro. Sorry.
But to piggyback off that, bet on your own team. Period. Like, if you're gonna bet,
that's the rule. You never bet on your own team,
especially when you play
emotions out of it.
Like, you already supposed to bet on the sport, but at the very least, don't use your team. Bet on any other team in the league.
Yeah, I will. Before we turn it over to you, Cap, if I could, I completely in agreement with what we have stated already. Just so that we are clear as well. Really did place 3 parlay bets, like I said, and 1 including for the Falcons to win, which of course we're all like, well, why'd you do that? But this did happen in Florida. And at the time really had been on leave from the team, and he was citing mental health issues. And so I don't know if that is a component to, when people are not thinking right mentally, they do stuff. I've seen it happen. I'm not blaming that for what he did. No, a consequence is a consequence. I think we're all in agreement that the length of the consequence does not match what is happening. And so with that being said, if he gets suspended for a year, who's next? If they gamble, what have you, what does that look like? And if it's anything less than a year, then we need to revisit this conversation, because then it is definitely unfair and definitely a biased thing for what he did. But it's like, would you rather have $1,500 in the bet, or would you rather lose $15 million? But someone else has a would you rather. So I'm gonna kick it over to Cap for that one, though.
All right, man. Let's get it forward to. We got some extra time to add in Mr. Deshaun Watson. It's officially
yes, sir.
Charges.
So coming into this week, you kind of named the episode gambling, which is kind of funny because that's literally, from my understanding, what the Panthers are trying to do with Deshaun Watson, right? And this is something that I kind of been keeping my eye on, because Sheedy just kind of relate to what happened on your episode of your episode when Prodigy was on, right? And y'all talked about Tory Lanez, right? And we see what's going on with Tory Lanez. I literally said with my media trained eye that Tory's innocent. They're using the media to try to manipulate him because he's trying to do something that other artists has never done. That's a whole nother topic for another issue. But what I'm seeing from Deshaun Watson is that we are seeing something that we've never seen before. A prime quarterback that has seen his team literally say, we don't want to win. They had the number 1 receiver in football in D-Hop, and they decided to let him go for nothing. How do you expect to win? How do you expect to win anything with that? So I think that there were rumblings going around that saying that Deshaun wanted out, and I think that this is honestly a media ploy to try to tarnish his name, to try to get what they can from him, because they literally have a prime quarterback that don't want to be there. And I'm thinking, like, because the Panthers literally hired a PI, a private investigator, to see what's going on, I feel like that we really want Deshaun in Carolina. And the fact that we hired a PI is saying something, because something do still kind of seem fishy about this whole situation. That's just me. That's just me saying that if Deshaun Watson would have played football this year, I don't think we would have been hearing anything about anything that's going on between massage parlors, whatever. I don't think any news would have been out, because in my opinion, it's BS news. Now, if it's true, cool. I'd more than love to take back everything that I'm saying right now. But you're talking to somebody that said that Tory Lanez is innocent and he's about to be innocent. So that's just how I feel about that. I really hope that Deshaun Watson is going to be a Panther. But if we give up the world for him, I want to ask y'all this. What kind of replications should be on the Texans, for one, and the NFL as a whole, if we found out that the Texans were lying?
I don't think you're going to find it out.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to find that out.
It's just going to find it out.
Why not?
Money covers up everything.
Mm-hmm. But we seeing Brian Flores come out too.
Yeah, but Brian Flores, Brian Flores don't have NFL type money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To what she just said, like, that's a lot of money. Money can cover up a lot of stuff. And Brian Flores, I ain't counting the man pockets, but I'm pretty sure he ain't got the money that the NFL got. So if they want to cover up something that, because at the end of the day, Houston is employed because of the NFL, something like that. The NFL is going to do whatever they can to cover up that particular team. Look at the Washington Redskins, or look at the Washington football team. Nothing of that Dan Snyder stuff has come out because they know exactly what Dan Snyder brings to the NFL. They know exactly what he brings to the Commanders or whatever they are. So whatever happened in Houston, I just think I don't even want to read with it. Yeah, it's gonna get swept under the rug at the end of the day.
Yeah. It would take Deshaun fighting it, and he's back in the league now. He ain't about to fight it.
Yeah, he's been relatively quiet like this whole time since it's come out.
That's kind of been an issue for me too. But that's
I was about to say I don't believe he's fully. I'm sorry, I just don't believe 22 women is lying. No, I'm gonna come on.
Somebody ain't lying.
22 people ain't lying on you.
He definitely went to 22 massage parlors. We know that for sure.
Man, I don't know. This whole media thing is a whole different game, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
It really is.
But also,
it's a whole different game.
You have to say you're going to 22 different women, 22 massage parlors. You kind of put yourself in a position that they can possibly. Why are you going to many massage parlors? That many women. Not saying he did it or not, but I'm like, you have to think about stuff like that too when you do the things you do. Like you have to.
When you got enough money just to hire one, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Hire your own person.
Just hire one good one and then just keep it moving.
Yeah, and I think the thing that stings about all this, the same thing with Tory Lanez, right, is, whether Tory Lanez and Deshaun Watson, whether they're ever found guilty or innocent, right, the tarnish on their name is irreplaceable. And it's very unfortunate. Both are, Tory's a great artist. Deshaun's top 6 quarterback, probably in the league if he's healthy and in his prime and has an actual receiver or two to throw to with a running game. But at the end of the day, I hope the best for the Panthers, and I hope y'all make a great trade for him. And he comes to Carolina. He can rebuild his life there and have a new start. Houston is really one of those places sometimes where it's like, man, you just go there and blow up. And it's not ideal circumstances for Deshaun. And I think they just need to reevaluate Houston Texans as a whole in the organization. But again, money and power can do so many things that the truth cannot. And that is very unfortunate in the society that we live in.
Ooh, capitalism, ladies and gentlemen.
Good conversation.
I'm happy we talked about that. I feel a little bit more confident going forward, man. But Panther Nation going crazy right now because especially with all these trade packages that I'm seeing for Deshaun and players, I'm like, damn. I mean, damn.
Well, good luck.
Please, I don't care. Just get him out of my division. Anybody?
Sharky, like,
we're literally a quarterback.
Taking the L's.
I ain't got to see him no more. We already got the worst quarterback division in the league. Let's keep it that way. Get them up out of there.
Nigga, we're gonna have the worst division in the league, period, Nate. Like, this is our time and we wasted it.
Go ahead, take a
Still
bench,
got
right
time, brother. Still got time.
Yeah, somebody got to win it.
Y'all got time too, apparently.
Yeah,
but that's not.
All right, whatever.
That's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
Let's move forward.
People ain't about their life. They ain't about their life.
Let's move forward to Would You Rather. There's a couple quarterback news that came out this week. Got a couple of Would You Rather scenarios, but one team I did include in this Would You Rathers that I have 2 of them are the Washington Commanders. Oh, it's ugly. Washington. They got Carson Wentz. Colts. So, what are y'all thoughts about Washington getting Carson Wentz and trading 2/3 to get him and swapping seconds? What y'all think?
And paying the contract. Let's not forget that.
And just watch him.
Yeah, let's not forget the contract that he did.
Ron Rivera finally got his quarterback.
Ooh.
That's literally what this is. Not this. Ron Rivera has been literally searching. Ron Rivera has been searching for a quality quarterback that has high potential since Cam Newton, honestly, and he, I guess, finally got him.
No, that means he's still looking, brother. Because if you're going to trade everything to what Sharky just said and pay that ridiculous contract, and you sit there and watch Carson Wentz play as poorly as he did to end the season, there is no way. I'm not these aren't your words, and people are saying that, but there is no way on God's green earth you're an NFL coach and you said, "Damn, I'm looking for a quarterback. Damn, it's Carson Wentz. Like that's the guy I'm looking for." That's not it. I mean, I get it from.
He does have a Super Bowl ring.
Okay, you trolling. I see from the perspective of at the end of the day, it's a much better quarterback than they had on their roster last year. So if you want to go with that, then I understand it. But at the end of the day, Carson Wentz just ain't it. And I'm ready for people, and not even just people. I think fans, we understand it, but then there are folks at media who try to sell us on particular quarterbacks. And I'm just like, dude, Jimmy Garoppolo's on that list. Carson Wentz is on that list. Kirk Cousins is on that list of like, don't sell me on mediocrity. Don't even bring. He's not even in that conversation. But just don't sell me on a quarterback that I know for a fact I know can't play. I know cannot lead my team to a Super Bowl, or I know cannot consistently win on a week-to-week basis. Carson Wentz falls in that list. I mean, it's Washington, so I don't care what they do, but I'm sorry, there's no way I would have traded for all. I would have traded all of that and paid all of that money for a quarterback that I know for a fact is not consistent on a week-to-week basis.
Hey, yes, Took, I had the ability to change y'all names, Mr. Troll of the Day.
Man, what the heck? This is crazy. This is crazy.
Here's my question. Would you consider Carson Wentz the modern day Jay Cutler?
It's not a bad comparison.
I think he cares
the modern day who?
I mean, not Jay Cutler. Now, I'm not talking about
I thought you said J. Cole.
From a mental capacity, because we know Jay Cutler just.
Well, I thought you said the modern day J. Cole. I was going to say, what?
Took, you definitely deserve that title for Troll of the Day. I clearly said
no, bro. I heard the J. Cole. I'm like, man, huh? My bad, y'all. My bad.
But yeah, like to Scholar's point, man. Look, rule number one here, and let's be real, is when a player shows you who they are, believe them. And we've seen time and time and time again that Carson Wentz is just not it. Like, yes, he had that one good season with the Eagles, but what happened? He got injured, and Nick Foles took him all the way to the Super Bowl. So what he's done since then has been virtually nothing. Like, he's on a ridiculous contract. For Washington to say, hey, let's go take this guy, I mean, it's fine. But it's an upgrade from what you had last year. I will give you that. I mean, but that's about as far as I'm going. Still, let's just be real. You're really not going to be competing in the NFC East. Let's just be real, because that Dallas is just going to dog walk that division unless some changes are made in Philadelphia.
Should.
They should, dog. Again, I say unless some changes is made in Philadelphia, I fully expect Dallas to just dog walk the NFC East. I'm just going to be honest with you. But I guess, I mean, if you're going for it, Washington, go for it. But Carson Wentz ain't it. I'm sorry.
As much as I hate for the NFC East to continue to recycle talent to the NFC East as we continue to do, I agree with what happened in the Super Bowl, but also, man, there was a time when he was his last season with the Eagles where he didn't have no receivers. He didn't really have a running game, offensive line, and they still did win the division, actually. And so I've seen him, and, you're giving them a great receiver from Ohio State, of course, at Washington, and they're probably going to look to sign another receiver, maybe. They still have their defensive line. I said before the season started, if Washington had a better quarterback, then they can make a little bit more noise in the NFC East, and I still stand to that. I'm not sure who all is coming back for the Crusaders, Commanders, Cupcakes, but it matters not. Buffalo Soldiers. But as long as, of course, I want Dallas to win the division, but yeah, Philadelphia's got some stuff coming up. But again, it's about Carson Wentz. And I believe that by signing and getting Carson Wentz and giving him all that money and giving up what they've given up, I hope that means at least 2 more victories for them in the next season. If not, then that is a bust for them.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I can see a scenario that this works out for them, not to necessarily win the division, but the NFC is down. So for them to make the playoffs, I think they won 7 games last year. If I'm not mistaken, I need to look at their record. 6 or 7 games.
I think 9 and 8 would get them there because the NFC is going to be down next year. So 9 and 8 would probably get them in. To Sheedy's point, 2 more wins.
Right. He can get them there because he had a good year into the last 2 games. Literally, with the Colts, he really had a really good year. He lessened his picks. His last 2 games are just terrible. And for whatever reason, his leadership. He got more. He got traded more than just his play. His leadership. They talked about his leadership qualities. Same thing in Philly. The same thing. So apparently, his attitude way up, or they don't like his demeanor. And so we'll see what he can bring to Washington. But I can see a scenario where this works out in the sense that it gets Washington where they want to get to, it gets back to the playoffs, but it doesn't do anything. Which, especially in the weekend FC, you would think like it's only Aaron Rodgers State where Aaron Rodgers State in Green Bay, Dallas, the Rams. Who else?
Don't mention Dallas no more, huh?
We're hoping Carolina make a move to get there. Like it's kind of like Tom Brady retired. The NFC is kind of down right now, so this would have been time to strike. And I think they struck for the wrong person to get to the level of Super Bowl contention.
I get Sharky and Sheedy where y'all coming from, but here's the thing. Either Carson Wentz is going to be hurt or he's going to play really, really well half of the season, majority of the season, and fall short every single time. To what Trevor just told us, when a player shows you who they are, believe him. Granted, he can give them 2 wins. Granted, he could play 16, 17 weeks of the season, but damn it, he ain't going to do it because why? Because he showed us that every single year that it ain't happening.
But to Sheedy's point, he has done it before. He did it 2 years ago in Philly.
Yeah, like carried them on his back.
Yeah,
literally. No receivers, no nothing. No Deuce Staley out there, nothing. They just
he did come last year.
Again, that's more so about Dallas than him in Philly. Let me just put that there.
Yeah, but what we're saying is like I don't expect them to win the division.
Right, exactly.
It's 17 teams in the playoffs. They can get
potentially.
Yeah.
Yes.
Potentially, yeah. I was saying 9 and 8.
Especially in that.
Yeah.
But let's get to what you rather. The real players who got traded or the real teams who opened up, those said players. So let's start with this. Would you rather be in the situation? You saw what Seahawks got back for Russell Wilson, which was 3 players, including Shelby Harris, defensive lineman Shelby Harris, Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and 5 draft picks, 2 firsts, 2 thirds, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a 5th. And they traded Russell Wilson and I think a 4th or a 5th or something, 4th. Or the Colts, who found the way to get rid of Carson Wentz, got 2 thirds back for him, which I did not expect, and got a team to take on his whole contract. Which position would y'all rather be in, the Colts position or the Seahawks position?
I would rather be in the Colts situation because the NFC West is much more difficult than the AFC South. I would rather be in that. I would rather be in the Colts situation where I could potentially go get Marcus Mariota if I wanted to. You could go get you can get a quarterback in this upcoming. You can get a quarterback in this upcoming draft. You just need a quarterback that's not going to turn over the ball, honestly. And so I haven't been a while. It's been a while since I've seen Marcus Mariota play, but just find a quarterback that can just get you to where you need to be. The AFC South is much easier to win than the NFC West. NFC West is the 49ers, the Rams, the Cardinals, and so you have to compete with that. And right now, Seattle does not have a quarterback. Now, granted, the Colts don't have either, but you could probably do more with what you have in the Colts than you can if you are the Seahawks. I'd rather be the Colts if I had to pick.
Yeah, for the same reason, give me the Colts. Pretty much, you just need a quarterback that's not going to turn the ball over. You're just going to have a heavy dose of Jonathan Taylor, and you get a few receivers that a competent quarterback can make some decent throws to. You're competing in the AFC South because it's just the Titans and everybody else. The NFC West is about to get ridiculously competitive, but it could change because we don't know what the 49ers is going to do coming up when it comes with Jimmy Garoppolo. But you got the champs, you got the Rams, and then you got the Cardinals who could maybe or maybe not retain Kyler Murray. So that remains to be seen. But for right now, I would definitely stay the Colts.
Same with me. Same reasons Ryan just did. The Colts had a better roster in the easier division. Like you said, it's just the Titans and Colts in that division. That's the Jaguars do some type of miraculous upbringing this year. Yeah. So it's the Colts.
Yeah, I would. I'm gonna say the Colts, but I'm gonna say the Colts also be based upon what's been going on with the Seahawks. I don't know if you guys have seen the report or heard the report about Bobby Wagner. Didn't even hear from the Seahawks himself that he was not coming back. They heard that from social media. And so where there's smoke, there's fire. And so I would definitely not want to be a part of all of that. So give me the Colts. And I don't think the Colts are really realistically done with what they want to do yet in this off season. They got rid of him. They got rid of Carson for a reason and made sure that the compadres were picking up that tab so they can pick up some money to place from somebody else.
Also, I do want to say something. I know I hear a lot of people saying like, "Hey, you know, this is weak quarterback draft." That's Colts signed Marcus Mariota and get to the next season and get like a Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. You know, the Colts had to actually be bad to be able to pick those guys. You know, as much as you talk about weak quarterback draft, strong quarterback draft, you got to have a high draft pick to get those guys or trade a lot to get up there. And I doubt the Colts with their roster are not, no matter who they put behind center, they're not going to be bad enough to get to that position. So they kind of in that position where the elite quarterbacks that they could upgrade to are gone because Jimmy Garoppolo ain't up. If they get him, he not upgraded over Carson Wentz. They're equal. You probably say they're equals. Anybody else they get is probably about the same. So they kind of in a position where they either have to try and tank, and I don't know how they could do that with their roster, or they have to pick a quarterback this year.
Now, somehow they got a trade package to get, I don't know, like a Derek Carr.
If the Ravens start trying to trade him,
yeah.
That's one. That's the one because Deshaun Watson ain't going into the division, so that's out. And there's no other upgrade option. That's trademark or free agency.
I guess I'd be different. I go with the Seahawks, man, just to be different. But when you look at what's going on with Seattle, not only do you get a chance, I know we don't like the word for rebuild, but when you look at what's going on with Seattle, they do have a lot of young players that they have, especially with Metcalf, and you still got Tyler Lockett. The defense is pretty solid, but you do get a consistent tight end, which they hadn't had in a minute. And I think that once you of course you lose Russell Wilson, but if you do, you could insert, that it's kind of like the same thing with the Colts. If you could add, a seasoned quarterback, or even if you wanted to go the younger route, I think that being in a division with the 49ers who still trying to figure out what they're doing with a young quarterback. You got Arizona, which is Kyler Murray going to still be a part of that team next season? You know what I'm saying? And still you got the Rams who, we see what happens to Super Bowl winning teams. They go from here to here in a they don't snap. So I mean, if I was to kind of just bring some kind of perspective into it, I guess I'd be a part of the Seahawks. They still got Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll ain't going anywhere. And even though they did do, this could be the opportunity to find a new coach. I mean, just figure out what you are outside of the Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson got you, a Super Bowl and a half. He really should have got you two, but that's neither here and there. But, and they did build a culture for them to win. So I think, you got great young players. You do what you got to do to compete in this division, which kind of got a question mark on it, in my opinion, just to be honest with you. So I choose the Seahawks.
I mean, outside of the Rams,
but Rams got a lot of 1 year left contract players too. Are they willing to go back and continuously spend money? I mean, of course they will, but it's like you still got 1 year players, 2 year players who can go get the bag somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
Ryan. Right. Everybody think about that video.
Yeah,
get them out.
I'm getting cooked.
Get them out.
Here's the thing, because I didn't think, because this was rumored like in the past, and nobody really took traction to it as far as what was going on with Seattle. The whole quote unquote rumored beef between Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson, which led to what we'll get to eventually with Russell Wilson being traded. So I think this is Pete Carroll just trying to recreate something that possibly may not even be there. So, but we'll see.
Yeah, before we move on, I think Seattle chose the wrong person. I think they decided to trade Russell Wilson instead of letting Pete Carroll go, and I think that's going to bite them in the butt in about a year or two.
See, I thought they were going to fire Pete Carroll and trade Russell Wilson. So it actually shocked me, Jay.
Or could have done that, but Pete Carroll ain't it. He ain't it.
It's time to move forward. It's time to just give that whole era. It's time to everybody. Pete Carroll, Russ, Bobby Wagner, move forward. It's time.
You still got a bunch of picks. You still got a bunch of picks from the Seahawks too, which I mean, handy for sure.
They got great.
So
it's they got a pick, which they probably gonna take Malik Willis with.
But the thing about those picks, they haven't been hitting on their picks. Like that's why the roster's been so bad lately, especially on defense. Like they just haven't hit on picks outside of DK.
True. But I think you do take the best package that you could for Russ, and I think that this was one of the better, if not the best package. Like it was people saying, they stole Russell Wilson. I'm like, if you think about it and consider the circumstances that I just brought up, it's like, nah, it's not bad.
It's
what you gonna do with it?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
See what they do. Well, next, would you rather is come from the other team. So the team that actually traded for Russell Wilson and the quarterback who finessed and got everybody talking about him. I decided not to entertain his boardness, but a lot of people did, especially on national media. Aaron Rodgers decided to stay with Green Bay. He's supposed to sign a $200 million deal. He came out on social media and said it wasn't no agreement yet. Whatever. He's back in Green Bay. Yeah. Right, exactly. $153 million guaranteed is what he's supposed to get, but who cares? Aaron Rodgers stayed in Green Bay, Russell Wilson in Denver. Who would you rather? What situation would you rather be in?
I think no. I mean, it's not that easy.
This one depends. To be honest with you,
it's tough because go ahead, Trevor.
Because I could want if I want to stay competitive, I would choose Green Bay because you're guaranteed to win the NFC North with Aaron Rodgers, and then he's just going to choke it away in the playoffs. So if you're looking at it from that standpoint, then yeah. Now, if you're looking at it from a Super Bowl standpoint, you kind of want to lean towards the Broncos, but looking at the Broncos, you're in the AFC West. That means you're dealing with Justin Herbert, you're dealing with Derek Carr, if he stays there, and then, of course, Patrick Mahomes. And then, of course, we're not going to talk about the other trades that just happened with the Chargers getting Khalil Mack. So, good luck there. Yeah, the Broncos are very talented. Pretty much all they really needed was a quarterback. But, again, just with that division, I would lean towards Green. I'm going to say Green Bay because you want to at least make the playoffs. So, with Green Bay, that's a guarantee. But Aaron Rodgers is just going to choke it away. So.
Yep.
So I'm gonna spice up my answer a little bit and say it depends on what you're looking for. If you want a new TV show, then you would rather be the Broncos. If you want to watch something, if you've been watching the same show that you've been watching for 15, 16 years, then the Green Bay Packers is your answer. The Green Bay Packers Green Bay Packers, in my opinion, is I guess a better choice because you know what you're going to get. You know you're going to win the NFC North. You know you're going to sweep the Bears. You know you're going to sweep the Lions. The Lions. You'll probably split with the Vikings. And then you probably have a first-round bye, and then you lose your first-round game. It's the same show every freaking single season. And so it's just like if you want consistency, it's the Packers, right? But then if you want to watch something new and if you want to be entertained, then the Denver Broncos is your answer. There you go.
If you want to have more hope. I like that one.
So it's basically Bel Air versus the Fresh Prince of Bel Air in this situation.
No, please don't do that to us. Please don't do that to us. Get another one.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know which one is which in this situation.
Yeah,
right.
Okay, I'll come with it. All right, just don't touch that down.
My thing is, we've heard year after year after year how Aaron Rodgers, the Packers don't get Aaron Rodgers help. He signs a contract for $50 million a year. What kind of help do you expect to have now? It don't make sense. It literally don't make sense. So, yes, sign me up with the Broncos, even though they beat us in the Super Bowl in a heartbeat. Give me them. That's literally all they were missing was a veteran quarterback like Russell Wilson. It's the same TV show, and it's funny. Why not? Why? I guess Tyler Perry keep making movies, and people keep watching them. So y'all like it.
Hey,
y'all like
it. The last video was wild, bro.
It was.
Then she went back in time and everything. So I've come on here and criticized Aaron Rodgers because I've compared Aaron Rodgers to James Harden because both of them, besides Aaron Rodgers winning that Super Bowl that one season, they both get as far as they can in the playoffs.
So now Drew Brees is retired, so you shift down to Aaron Rodgers now. I see you. Always Drew Brees.
Yes, sir. So I would bring to your point, he just signed like a $50 million right per season, whatever the guarantee is, $153 million. The this is not the same Green Bay team that he's going to have again next season, right? They're losing, I believe, their most talented defensive person, I believe, if not linebacker on defense. He told them goodbye after they lost their last game. And so I would actually say I'd rather be in the situation of the Broncos, just because I believe in that division of AFC West. I think it's going to be a lot going on between all four of those teams. And it'll be 3 if the Raiders trade Derek Carr. I'll be honest with you, because I don't. They're going to trade for Derek. If someone trades for Derek Carr, they're not going to get anyone that's of the caliber of Derek Carr or better. And so I think there's a trade that happens with Derek Carr, and I think we're really looking at 3 teams within the AFC West. And I think all 3 teams are liable to make the playoffs in a 7-team scenario. You never know who can win from there. And I think maybe even the Broncos are 1-1 against some of these teams. This is a pretty decent defensive team last season, and we'll see what happens coming up this upcoming season. And you have a leader. They haven't had a good quarterback since Peyton Manning.
No, he wasn't good. Even he wasn't good.
Yes, he was.
No, he had that one year.
His first 2
that
years.
1 year before the Super Bowl. Before the Super
exactly.
Bowl year.
Yeah, that means he was
before
good.
the Super Bowl.
That's what we're talking about.
Not the year that he won the Super Bowl. He didn't do.
He wasn't. No, he wasn't. But he's the last good quarterback they had.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Name me the quarterback. Brock Osweiler? Is that what you're gonna tell me?
Probably.
Oh
John
shit.
Y'all see his name. Y'all see his name. Y'all see his name.
Anyways,
you don't want to say, man.
Russell Wilson is an upgrade for them at quarterback, and we have talked many of times within like the first 5 to 6 games of every season. Russell Wilson looks like an MVP candidate every single time. And then something happens, midway through. Sometimes the Seahawks bounce back. Most of the time they don't. But we'll see what happens. I mean, he's got different receivers as well. My God, no. Not Jake the Snake Plumber.
But
like I'd rather be with the Broncos at this point, because with the Packers, I mean, even if I get home field advantage all the way through the playoffs, I'm still not going to the Super Bowl. So what does it even matter? At least I think with the Broncos, I have a better chance of getting to the Super Bowl. And that's crazy for me to say in a loaded AFC. It's really crazy for me to say that. But again, to the point of they show you who you are, right? The Packers and Aaron Rodgers shows you who they are every single season, except the one season that they went to the Super Bowl. That's it.
I'm with y'all. I like the new shiny toy, the new TV show over. I watched the classics, but the Packers do the same thing every year, literally. Like I said, it's just the same current team. If you're a Packers fan, it gotta be frustrating. Like literally, like I said, once they show you who you are, that's who they are. Like Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. I'm sorry, it's blah. It's
a California kid that can't play well in the cold. So,
and that's the thing about like upgrading quarterbacks, because it's just NFL's hard to win, and you just think like. Now looking back on it, you remember last month I said about the Titans, I want us at least, and we did hear our names rumbling. We were Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. I'm kind of glad we didn't make a move and just one more year with Tannehill, then try to move forward next year possibly, because in the sense that you would have spent all that what Denver traded to get Russ, or try to do everything you had to do to get Aaron, you depleted your team, and both of them the last 10 years or so, or 8 years, whenever last time Seattle won, they both have kind of got to the playoff. Like you said, Russell Wilson, first 5 games, great. After that, kind of like, okay, playoffs, same thing, Aaron Rodgers. So I'm looking at Denver. I kind of see the same thing, but it may be new scenery. You can at least be optimistic and like, okay, it's new scenery. Maybe he'll continue and have a great whole year. Maybe he will. I don't think Denver has a better line, so they still need to address the offensive line. That's going to be another problem. They need to address the offensive line, but hopefully in the playoffs that he can pull through again. Aaron Rodgers, you know what's going to happen. Literally. We know what's going to happen.
Yep.
She, I got an answer for your question too, bro. The best quarterback question. He happened to wear number 15. His name is Tim Tebow.
Okay, now let's move on.
Fair heard of him. You know what I'm saying? Had the potential to do his thing, but they ain't left.
I mean, he did beat
Don't
the
move my
Steelers. I
mic.
got you.
They did beat the Steelers. 316 yards. God is real.
This one right here. I ain't, bro. I get to my
Done for the season. Right.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie.
It felt like it. I tell you that much. It felt like it. But that does whatever. Anybody else got a would you rather? I know she kind of got on me last time. I was about to.
I just try and bring some jokes. No jokes today. I'm done. No jokes.
It's all good. All right, man. That's for the episode. Remember, follow us at LBR_media. Go to the link tree inside the link, and you can see everything from there, all our different podcasts. Go to our website, lbrmedia.com, and follow the page from Let's Be Real Sports at LBR Sports 901. We are continuing to keep it moving, and now you got anything else. Till next time, peace.